3 seismic shocks in just 7 days. If you thought 2026 had been crazy so far, buckle up. In the last 168 hours, exactly what crypto maximalists and tech freedom fighters have been warning about for years has come to pass. The masks have come off. It feels like the script of a political thriller, but it is the stark reality of today, Monday, June 15th, 2026. First, for the very first time in human history, a Western government has executed a leading active AI model and shut it down globally. Anthropic's brand new Fable 5 is dead, taken offline by the US Department of Commerce, a digital precedent sending shockwaves through Silicon Valley. Second, the Iran conflict, simmering for over 100 days and keeping the crypto market in a stranglehold for months, is over. Yesterday, on his 80th birthday, Donald Trump announced a historic deal. Bitcoin is surging 3%, the Strait of Hormuz is open, and in the background, billions in crypto assets have been quietly seized. And third, behind closed doors in Washington, the final showdown over crypto regulation is taking shape. The Clarity Act is on the Senate agenda. The best-case scenario? A historic crypto bill signed into law on July 4th, U.S. Independence Day. If you've been following this channel for a while, you know I've produced separate videos on each of these 3 topics over the past few months. I've issued warnings, I've provided analysis. But what most people out there are completely overlooking is the connecting truth behind it all. These aren't 3 isolated news stories. This is a coordinated, a global power struggle. It is the US government's ultimate attempt to force the 2 most powerful technologies of the 21st century, artificial intelligence and money, under state control. And right in the middle of it all, there is one asset that emerges from each of these 3 scandals as the ultimate uncensorable winner: Bitcoin Cash, BCH. Why that is the case, why Fable 5 really had to die, and what awaits us on July 4th, we're going to break it all down now. A quick note up front, as always, this is not financial advice, but rather my in-depth analysis of the current situation. Stay tuned, let's get started right away. Let's start with this week's absolute bombshell. On June 9th, 2026, just 6 days ago, the tech world celebrated the launch of Fable 5, the latest masterpiece from Anthropic. It was faster, smarter, and damn close to true artificial general intelligence, AGI. Stock prices soared, and the community was thrilled, but the joy lasted exactly 3 days. On Friday, June 12th, the unthinkable happened. The US Department of Commerce issued an immediate shutdown order. Fable 5 was taken offline. It marks the very first time in the history of artificial intelligence that a government has killed a live, commercial AI model by decree, an absolute breaking of a taboo. The official reason? Export controls and national security. The US government claimed the model was too powerful to risk foreign actors, specifically those from sanctioned nations, gaining access to it. Now, you might be wondering, why didn't Anthropic simply disable the model for users in those countries? And that is precisely where we run into the technological disaster. Anthropic cannot reliably filter users based on nationality. A user in London, Paris, or Berlin can gain access via VPNs or convoluted control structures. Since Anthropic could not guarantee Washington that it could flawlessly block every single foreign national worldwide, the US government chose the nuclear option, a global shutdown for all users. If the US cannot control it exclusively, no one in the world is allowed to use it. But that is just the tip of the iceberg. 3 massive scandals are unfolding behind the scenes of Fable 5, revealing just how deeply the deep state has already embedded itself in the tech industry.
Scandal number 1: secret sabotage.
Insider reports from the weekend reveal that the US military forced Anthropic to embed hidden capability limits for independent researchers. While the Pentagon and select government agencies had access to the full, unbridled computing power and cognitive capabilities of Fable 5, the versions available to external researchers and the public were artificially dumbed down, sabotaged by their own government, with the developers forbidden from speaking about it. It was a deliberate information asymmetry designed to secure the state's technological edge over its own citizens. Scandal number 2: the 30-day data retention disaster. It has now emerged that the shutdown order included a clause requiring Anthropic to mirror all user prompts, uploaded documents, and programming code from the first 3 days of the launch onto government servers for at least 30 days. This represents a massive data privacy issue. Millions of developers worldwide fed highly sensitive corporate data into Fable 5, believing Anthropic was protecting their privacy. Now, that data sits with the US Department of Homeland Security. Scandal number 3, origins at the Pentagon. To understand how this came about, we have to look back to March 2026. That was when the Pentagon quietly classified Anthropic as a supply chain risk, a threat to the national supply chain. Since then, the company has been under constant surveillance. Dario Amodei, Anthropic's CEO, is now fighting a desperate legal battle against this shutdown. Yet the precedent has been set. Centralized AI is subject to absolute state censorship. And this brings us to crypto. What does the Fable 5 debacle teach us? Centralized systems, no matter how brilliant, can be destroyed by a government agency with the stroke of a pen. If your entire infrastructure runs on Amazon, Google, or Anthropic servers, you own absolutely nothing. That is precisely why decentralization is the free world's only chance for survival. While Fable 5 was shut down at the push of a button, the Bitcoin Cash network continues to operate undeterred. No Department of Commerce in the world can shut down Bitcoin Cash nodes. No court can forbid BCH from processing transactions. In a world where AI is being censored and centralized uncensorable, decentralized money like BCH becomes the most important line of defense for free market economists and developers. The tech elite is learning this the hard way.
Let's move on to story number 2. The geopolitical easing of tensions that markets have been awaiting for months. Since March 2026, roughly 100 days ago, the US and Iran had been locked in a highly volatile, grueling conflict. There was the fear of a third world war, the closure of the Strait of Hormuz, and global supply chains effectively in a coma. And the crypto market? It was bleeding. On June 5, 2026, we hit a temporary low. Bitcoin crashed to $59,100. Over $94 million in crypto liquidations were recorded during that heated period alone. Panic ruled the order books. But yesterday, Sunday, June 14th, coincidentally on his 80th birthday, Donald Trump stepped before the cameras and announced the impossible: the Iran deal is a go. The market relief is palpable today, Monday, June 15th. Bitcoin surged more than 3% this morning and is currently trading around $65,600. The Strait of Hormuz has officially reopened, oil tankers are moving, and the geopolitical risk premium is evaporating. The official signing ceremony is scheduled for this coming Friday, June 19th in neutral Switzerland. That date, June 19th, will serve as the next massive catalyst for the entire market. But let's take a look behind the scenes of these negotiations. Why did things suddenly move so fast? The answer is, as always, follow the money. And in this case, follow the crypto money. Feedback Gaben.
In May 2026, the US Treasury quietly seized crypto assets worth over $1 billion that were directly linked to Iranian mining operations and state-controlled wallets. The US simply turned off the digital money tap for Iran. This crypto leverage was the primary pressure point that ultimately forced Iran to the negotiating table in Switzerland. What does this mean for us crypto investors? When this deal is sealed on June 19th, global capital, which had fled into cash out of fear of war, will rush back into risk assets. And this is where the massive implication for Bitcoin Cash, BCH, comes into play. Throughout this conflict, we have seen crypto used as a borderless, censorship-resistant medium of exchange. When nations are blocked, people turn to P2P money. And which network offers true peer-to-peer payments without astronomical fees? That's right, Bitcoin Cash. As the market realizes that geopolitical crises can be resolved through the seizure of assets held on centralized exchanges like Iran's $1 billion, whales and smart investors will withdraw their capital from centralized custodians and shift it into genuine on-chain liquidity. Bitcoin Cash, with its minimal fees and massive scalability, is built precisely for this scenario. The recovery from 59K to 65K is just a taste of what will happen when global liquidity is fully turned back on after June 19th, and that brings us seamlessly to the third and perhaps most consequential story of this tumultuous week, the regulatory endgame in Washington, D.C., the Clarity Act. Do you remember my video from May? On May 14th, 2026, the Senate Banking Committee advanced the Clarity Act with a historic 15-9 vote. Since June 1, the bill has officially been on the Senate legislative calendar. That means the debates are over, and the bill is ready for the final Senate vote. The rumor mill in Washington is churning hotter than ever. The absolute best-case scenario being discussed behind the scenes looks like this. The Senate votes within the next 2 weeks. The House follows suit, and just in time for July 4th, 2026, American Independence Day, the President signs the Clarity Act into law. The symbolism would be monumental. Financial freedom and crypto clarity, sealed on Independence Day. A symbolic breakthrough for the entire industry. But let's stay honest and realistic on this channel. We don't engage in blind moonboy hype here. Is this scenario a sure thing? Absolutely not. The wheels of Washington turn slowly, and there is still fierce resistance from veteran anti-crypto politicians who want to stall the bill until after the summer recess. A look at decentralized prediction markets reveals the unvarnished truth. On Polymarket, the probability of the Clarity Act being finally passed in 2026 currently stands at a solid 65%. That's a strong majority, but it's no guarantee. It remains a damn tight race against time. But why is the Clarity Act so incredibly important? And why should you, as a Bitcoin Cash holder, pay close attention right now? The Clarity Act puts an end to the SEC's destructive, years-long regulation by enforcement regime. It establishes razor-sharp definitions distinguishing between a security and a commodity. And the brilliant part is this. Thanks to its flawless history, fair launch with no pre-mining, and pure proof-of-work structure, Bitcoin Cash, BCH, is already unequivocally classified as a digital commodity in the Clarity Act draft. While hundreds of proof-of-stake tokens and dubious crypto projects fear for their survival, facing the risk of being classified as illegal securities, BCH enjoys absolute regulatory certainty. Once this law comes into effect, whether on July 4th or later in the autumn, a massive door will open for Bitcoin Cash, institutional capital, regulated derivatives, and total legal certainty for banks and funds. BCH has essentially secured its regulatory free pass, while the rest of the market trembles. This is the unfair advantage that the masses won't grasp until it is too late.
If we step back now and piece together these three groundbreaking events, the Fable 5 shutdown, the Iran deal, and the Clarity Act, we recognize the true epic narrative of the summer of 2026. These are no coincidences. It is one and the same story. We are witnessing the concerted, ultimate attempt by the world's most powerful government to gain control over the two most transformative technologies of the 21st century, artificial intelligence and money. Look at the pattern with Fable 5. The US government says, if a technology is powerful enough to change the world, we must control it, censor it, and if necessary, shut it down for the rest of the planet. Regarding the Iran conflict and the seized crypto billions, the state says we are weaponizing the global financial system and our digital reach to dictate geopolitics on our own terms. And with the Clarity Act, they say we are now drawing the final lines in the crypto space. We decide who survives and who dies. This is the reality of 2026. The state is attempting to wall off the digital world. If an AI becomes too smart, it gets shut down. If a nation fails to toe the line, its crypto assets are confiscated. If a token doesn't fit the regulatory mold, it gets banned. And it is precisely within this dystopia that the decentralized response was born. Bitcoin, and Bitcoin Cash in particular, represents the exact opposite of this matrix of control. BCH is the antithesis of Anthropic's Fable 5. An AI can be switched off because it runs on centralized servers. Bitcoin Cash cannot be switched off. There is no CEO for the Department of Commerce to call. There is no server room for the Pentagon to storm. BCH stands in stark contrast to the billions in Iranian assets seized from centralized platforms. for those who hold their own private keys. Their wealth cannot be bartered away in Switzerland as part of some geopolitical deal. And BCH emerges as the clear winner of the Clarity Act. While the US attempts to domesticate the crypto market, BCH stands firm as a purebred digital commodity, uncensorable, highly scalable, and ready to function as genuine global money. The message of this tumultuous week is crystal clear. Those who rely on centralized systems, whether for AI or for money, are left defenseless against the whims of the powerful. Those who embrace true decentralization are building on bedrock. This week has proven why we are here, why crypto is not merely a hobby, but a fundamental necessity for a free future. What a week! Events are moving fast, and I really want to know what you think about it all. Since this week is so massive, I'm not just asking you one question today, but 3 at once for the comments. Let's make that comment section heat up. Do you think Dario Amodei and Anthropic stand a chance of reclaiming Fable 5 in court? Or is the era of free, uncensored, top-tier AI in the US over for good? Will the signing ceremony in Switzerland on June 19th catapult the Bitcoin price sustainably above the 70,000 bark mark? Or is the Iran deal already priced in? And hand on heart, do you believe in a July 4th miracle for the Clarity Act, or will Polymarket's 65% prediction prove right with the bill delayed until autumn? Drop your opinions, theories, and analyses in the comments below. I read and reply to as many as I can. If you enjoyed this in-depth, investigative update, then for crying out loud, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any breaking news during this turbulent crypto year of 2026. Share this video with anyone who still thinks crypto and AI exist in isolation from one another. Thanks for tuning in. Stay in control, protect your keys, and see you next time.